Well, Congresswoman Donna Edwards is here. She represents Maryland's 4th District, Prince George's County, a seat that she won after a couple of tight-fought races against a very well-funded incumbent, Al Wynn, in 2008. She has been a long-time supporter of campaign finance reform and is advancing that cause right now. She's joining us by phone from her home. Donna, welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's good to be with you, Laura.
Two things. I mean, your story both suggests that it can be done. People can compete and win against people even with very large coffers of corporate support. But also, this has been one of the causes of your life. Citizens United, the decision in the Supreme Court, what can be done to roll it back, and how important is that?
Well, one thing is for sure, even though I ran against and challenged a long-time incumbent, it isn't done very often, and it shouldn't be the case that just people who are supported by corporations and special interests should be elected to Congress or hold any elective office. It is outrageous that the Supreme Court has, taken, all holds off. They've said that corporations dig into your corporate treasuries and you can spend unlimited amounts of money to elect or defeat a candidate. And I just think that this upends our system, and we have to make a change, and it has to be a pretty dramatic change to respond to the drama introduced into our elections by the United States Supreme Court.
All right, so what do we do?
Well, I think what we have to do is what I've joined with Chairman John Conyers of the House Judiciary Committee. We are introducing an amendment to the United States Constitution that would say once and for all that states and the Congress have the ability and the permission to regulate political speech by corporations. And, it seems like a constitutional amendment might be a dramatic strategy, but it matches that the Supreme Court has done. We don't really have a choice here. What
about the strategy of going for public financing and simply saying no one can spend on campaigns outside of public financed free television time and all the rest?
Well, one of the challenges, and I'm a strong believer and proponent of public financing of elections, just remove it entirely, but the court has also ruled in long-standing law that, we've got to create a voluntary system of public financing. Now, if we had a system of public financing, I'd volunteer and elect to do that. That still wouldn't stop corporations from being able to spend unlimited amounts of money out of their treasuries. And so I think we need both. We need both to say that corporate special interests can't spend money out of their corporations directly for election or defeat of a candidate, but we also need public financing so that those of us who run for office rely on small donors and rely on the public to do the public's business. And I'd much rather have that kind of system than the one we have now and than the one that the Supreme Court has unleashed on all of us.
Now, I know that Congressman Alan Grayson out of Florida has also put forward an initiative. How much support for change and for bills like these is there in the House right now?
Well, I think we're going to see. After all, the Supreme Court just made its decision, and I think there are so many members of Congress and elected officials across this country, because this also affects the state campaign finance laws, who are just finally waking up to the notion that if I decide, for example, that I'm a strong proponent of health care reform and holding pharmaceutical companies accountable and insurance companies accountable, and I believe in regulating banks, that the bank in my state or some national bank just decides that it's going to just reach into its treasure trove and spend money to elect or defeat me. Can you imagine the chilling effect that that's going to have on people who have to make important, tough decisions for the American people? It would virtually kill our ability to do anything on behalf of the American people if every elected official is running scared, thinking that they vote yes or no on a certain thing, and then all of a sudden, some corporation is going to reach into their deep pockets and spend against them. And I think as more of our members of Congress, elected officials, take a look at this and understand the ramifications, we will have a groundswell both in the public and in the halls of Congress for real change. And I think it has to be done in the Constitution.
All right, Donna Edwards, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Laura.
We'll link to Donna Edwards' website at ours. That's GRITtv.org. Much more coming up. Stay tuned.